Welcome back to No Nonsense, a pivotal week in the Premier League. Well, the big one, which I think was the way they were promoting this one, the big one. Team Sidemen versus Team YouTube All-Stars.
Yeah, I was watching it live.
Another year, Will. Another no invite.
It'd be insane. Would I go? Would I play in the Sidemen charity match? Oh my god!
I'd have to check the schedule. I'm not sure if I'd be.
Yeah, that's
if
true.
I could. And I don't know if you know what, Will. More importantly, I don't know if it would reflect our brand. So there's that too.
Do you know what's funny? I was watching the first half of, I think it was Burnley Nottingham Forest. It was one of those games this weekend. It was 0-0 until like the 46th minute. And then it was like, here, stick something on while it's half time. I saw the charity match was on. I was like, well, I'm not going back to the Burnley game. This is way better. This is much more interesting.
Yeah. No, listen, I saw that was going on. And I was like, usually it's an off week for the Premier League. Like if there's not international break, but there's like FA Cup or something, they usually put it on. This probably wasn't the best week to put on a sideshow like that when you had a big game like Arsenal Man City. You had Man United Chelsea, which probably doesn't have the same competitive edge or illustriousness it had in years gone by, but still it's a big game. A lot of fans of both teams. And then Liverpool Everton, the Merseyside derby, again kind of flew on the radar this year a little bit. Because everyone was kind of hate watching Arsenal, so that kind of took center stage. Not that they were on the same time, but just people couldn't. They needed to store up all the energy to direct the hate with full force at Arsenal.
I can't be thinking about Everton right now. There's big things going on. I need to really lock in and see what the funny parts of this game coming up are.
Yeah, I think most people would have predicted this result. That City will win. This will be it, but. I mean, annoyingly, I guess, for Arsenal fans out there, they actually showed up and played well, but they just weren't good enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of damning in a way because it is like, in a weird way, the pressure was nearly off in this game because coming in, it's like, well, they're obviously not going to win this one, and it felt like they knew that, which is even more annoying.
But whereas Bournemouth the week before was like, well, you have to win this, lads. You actually have to win this, or else it's crippling pressure when you have to win. But when it's like, well, this is a foregone conclusion, it's like, right, let's attack then.
Yeah. Because it was literally like, well, we know in this one, if we try, we'll still probably lose. So let's try. It was like, if you had tried for the last 5 weeks, this wouldn't have been, you wouldn't have had to care about this game.
Yeah, the psychology of sport is very interesting, isn't it? Like, I mean, and the face was like, why didn't you just do this last week against Bournemouth and then this wouldn't even be an issue? You could have lost this game by 1 million goals and it wouldn't have mattered, But as I said, they lost. The gap is now 3 points in hand. Mm-hmm. Sorry, the gap is now 3 points with a game in hand. I got ahead of myself there. And they have a game in hand against Burnley. That's the game you couldn't even watch. Well, that's who they're playing next.
Yeah. And I will say, I turned that off at halftime. Burnley were 1-0 up at halftime. And then just goals started coming in non-stop. So Burnley went to goal up and then realised this actually doesn't matter a fuck. So why are we bothered? And they lost 4-1.
Yet they are still technically, mathematically still in it.
Oh, they know. They don't care.
Maybe Scott Parker doesn't have a Transfermarkt premium account like us, but it's all there for you, Scott. You want to check it out. Yeah, I guess, like I said, the big game, Arsenal, Man City. Let's do it. Well, 5 things we learned. Let's do it. Okay. One thing is that the recruitment of a striker has been a failure. It's been confirmed now. With Gyökeres on the bench and Havertz playing. So Gyökeres was bought to replace Havertz. Havertz's been injured all year, and that's why Gyökeres is starting. And then when it came to crunch time, who do you pick? The last guy. So, I mean, Gyökeres has been all right. He's been okay. And he's got a hell of a highlight reel at Sporting, but this just kind of confirms that whether he's good enough or not, Arteta has lost faith in him. That like, this is the game we need to score goals. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows this is the game we need to attack and score goals. So I'm going to pick the guy who we know can't do that, who we bought you specifically for. So that is really a fucked situation. And I don't know, maybe it doesn't affect the players, but I know if it was me, it wouldn't fill me with confidence. We're like, we're going back to Kai then, are we? We're going to try this again. Hopefully it works this time, And then sure enough, he does some things really well. He tries very hard. He tries hard, the lad, but ultimately he gets the 2 chances that would have won the game and doesn't finish out of them. And it's like, yeah, that's why we need a striker, I guess. Back to square one.
But Kai Havertz, I don't know, I'm sure you saw this. He had an especially pained expression on his face when he missed, to let you know that, I should have scored that one. He did that loads of times.
Well, he knows that, like, the guy who came to replace him hasn't worked. You're getting a second chance at this. And you're like, oh, fuck. I won't get a third chance. They're going to buy some else this summer.
I'm sure you heard the same things I did. Gary Neville gushing about Bernardo Silva doing such a good job defensively on Kai Havertz. And he did. But it was just like, I think it was nearly more damning on Kai. It's like, he just can't win the ball in the air. Bernardo Silva is everywhere. It's like, you should really, really be winning those. Like, I don't care how good Bernardo Silva is, how experienced he is. You're bigger than him. Yeah,
the chase back was the one that everyone's kind of pointing to. I guess you kind of feel like Kai Havertz should be faster.
Yeah.
But I'd never seen the stats on. I've never seen him up there with Mickey Van de Ven with the top speed charts, I mean, Darren Núñez was a rocket, but I never seen Kai Havertz up there. Now, I've also never seen Bernardo Silva up there.
Yes,
but they could just be like 2 slow dudes, 2 fucking tractors in a drag race. You just see him as kind of old little Bernardo Silva. Sure, his legs can barely even carry him, but he is a professional athlete. So, I mean, I don't know. I think it's half like, wow, that's bad like Kai Havertz, but also it's maybe a bit disrespectful to Bernardo Silva. I mean, he can run a little bit still.
Yeah. It's more just winning things in the air as well. I think he won a header against Gyökeres as well. And then it was like, all right, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, and that's ironically, I guess, why Gyökeres was not picked as well, because Kai Havertz's hold-up play is better.
Yes.
So, well, listen, like, you're a big guy, Gyökeres. Your finishing has been subpar. You run out of things that you do well here now if you can't, like... And again, it's whatever. He's who he is. He's doing his best. I'm sure. It's the recruitment of this. Like in the summer, there was Sesko who went to Man United. There was João Pedro who went to Chelsea. Voltemada, I guess. Also, I mean, none of them have really pulled up any trees.
No.
So I guess you could look at that too. But I mean, the best striker is Thiago. I guess Igor Thiago, which was never on any paper talk that I read.
No, I suppose Ekitike as well, but like even before he got injured, the goals were tapering off a little bit though in the last few weeks before the injury. But yeah, it's just even Eze as well in that game. Eze had an unbelievable chance. He just turned the defender, curled it, hit the post, and it felt like 5 minutes later. Then it was like, right, well, you're off. You nearly scored.
Yeah, I saw that, but they did. I suppose were thinking, we don't want to concede, because that's always in the back of, maybe not even that far back, but it's in the mind of Arteta that, like, let's not go crazy here. Odegaard, Havertz and Eze on the same time. I don't know about that, lads. I think we need to maybe who did he put on? That's what he put on Gyökeres, was it, for Eze?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, it was around then.
So that was, well, he goes, he won't score. That's yeah. Well, this is the thing. You look at this from the outside and you're not really sure what they're thinking or what's going on. It might just be, in hindsight, goes, well, I shouldn't have done that. I just got trying to change things up a bit. But yeah, I mean, he did have a good chance. But I think, honestly, look at this Arsenal squad. It's like it could be a really good counter-attacking team. A lot of pace. A lot of people like to run, but they don't really play that way. It's kind of like short, intricate passes that Gyökeres isn't very good at. And yeah, I mean that chance from Eze was out of nothing, but they don't really create a lot of that. You know what I mean? It's a lot more kind of more intentional than that, I suppose. Usually when they score, like set pieces or kind of moves between Saka and Odegaard, that was kind of their go-to for a long time. So I don't know if they're playing to all the players' strengths either. So yeah, the strike situation not good. Still needs work. Unless Jesus can get over his injuries. He might, the first answer might be the right answer, Will.
Did you see him getting booed or getting jeered by the City fans? And he couldn't take it anymore. And there's a clip of him online where he turns to them. He says, "I won 11 titles here. Why are you booing me?" Yeah,
well, they're bored. They're going to win the league.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just looking for something to do, something to think about. Yeah, and also he was, he didn't agitate for a move. He was sold because he was, not any use to Pep anymore. So
yeah, he would have stayed.
It's a funny one to boo him, but Yeah. Look, it's just good banter, isn't it? You know,
That's
it's
just
just
a beautiful
electric
game.
banter at the end.
This must have been a tough game, I have to say, as an Arsenal fan, because do you remember that famous tweet where it's like every week on Twitter or every day on Twitter there's a main character and the goal is to never be him? It's the same in the Premier League. You never want to be the talk of the league, and Arsenal very much all eyes on Arsenal this week.
Yeah, but I think honestly, anybody who watched the game was like, all right, that was actually good. You know, we wouldn't be so hard on you if you had that every week. You know, I mean, to be fair, if it's Arsenal, United, Liverpool, yeah, maybe just those three's club. Can you imagine? I know it's been a while, but if Man United were going for a title, can you imagine? Like, people would be feral.
Oh, pandemonium!
You know what I mean? It'd be way worse than this for Man United fans.
It'd be carnage.
And if they came second after being ahead, forget about it. Like, you just never the end of it. And we've seen it with Liverpool. I always see this. Maybe it's my algorithm, but I always see that fucking screenshot from the 13-14 season about Liverpool.
yeah.
You know, where City had like 3 games in hand, but it looks like, you know, Liverpool haven't won with 3 games to go. It's like, how do they bottle this? You know, it's like,
yeah.
So that was, like, say, 15 odd years ago or whatever. You know, it's like you never live these things down if you're one of the 3 biggest clubs. Like, there's no one wants you to win. So you have to just kind of get over that, I think. That just comes with the territory. And Man City, I mean, I think at this point, if you were a Man City fan, you'd be kind of loving it. But then in the quiet moments, you'd be kind of like, no one thinks we're a real club. You know, I support a fake club, kind of. Like, you'd be kind of a Matrix moment. Like, is this even, like, you know, no one cares if we win. Like, everyone wants us to win. You don't want to be thinking people want to win. Like, you don't want to be a charity case, but no one wants to be, like, irrelevant either. But people, oh, yeah, hopefully City win, because that's not real. It's like, what you mean? That's the club I support. Like, if you're from Manchester and you support Manchester City, like, yeah, that's not real. You don't have a real club. Sorry, mate.
You followed them when they got relegated and came back up.
Yeah. Like, there's no legitimacy you could add to it. Like, oh, my dad supported them. He's like, nah, you support the money. You're a fucking classic fan. Sorry, not a real club. But the worst thing is, no one even say it to you. You know, no one,
exactly,
no one's even saying it to you. No one's just ignoring you. Yeah, okay, so that's one thing we learned. Like, give me fucking 4 rapid fire things we learned. 4 rapid fire.
Okay, what's the next thing we learned from the game? Here's one.
Yeah.
If you get headbutted and you don't dive, the referees they're not interested in that. It's only if you dive do they then give a ridiculous red card. But if you don't dive, it's all good.
Well, look, this is my take on it, Will, right? I don't want to see players get sent off. Okay, I don't want players to get sent off. I don't want that for people. I don't even care. I hear this. I don't care that, like, such a small percentage of the population gets paid so much money. You know, I don't think they should be put into a separate place, footballers. You know, I just think, and you know what? Some of my best friends are footballers. Okay, before I say anything else, I don't want people to think that I have a certain worldview on this thing. But I think this. Look, I'm just saying. Well, these people, you people, footballers, should listen to our rules, and you want to live in our country. Yeah, Gabriel should be sent off, I guess. You know, by the letter of the law, by the book, whatever you want to say. But I do find it funny all morning, people being like, listen, I'm not racist, but I just think this guy should be banned for 3 games. Yeah. It's like, you can say you think he should be sent off, you know. No one's saying that you think all footballers should be sent off for nothing, you know, but it puts people in a funny situation because it's like, you know, you don't want to see people roll around holding their face, you know.
Yes. You've spent your life arguing against these red cards, but it's just when one doesn't happen, then you can't be like, well, what the hell?
But yeah, it's like, well, good, you know. But the same people.
Yeah, well, fair play to him. I mean, like you said, Gabriel, probably one of Arsenal's best players.
Yeah.
Could have been out for the next 3 games. Like, should have been because of something dumb he did. But instead, it's like no repercussion because Haaland. I mean, like, he just didn't dive. He didn't go down.
Yeah, this is the kind of the juxtaposition puts people in because we want real men back in football. You know, game's gone. Game is so gone. We need real men back in this, like it was in the 2000s, the 90s. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't want people rolling around. You know, you don't want people getting sent off for nothing. But then, you know, this does affect the actual game that you're watching. So you play the kind of the macho card of like, yeah, sure, just it's a part of the game, you know. And then of course during the game, the refs just decided that this was kind of good value for money to watch Gabriel and Haaland literally rip clothes off each other. Like that was like, that's fine. That's what people want. This is if I blow this, I'm a woke loser. That's what the ref is thinking. I can't blow this. I'm a woke loser. So when there's a headbutt, the VAR are thinking, well, look, this is part of it. So it puts those people like, oh, well, no, I actually, no, you should send him off. The rest is fine. But, you know, you can't have both ways, what I'm saying. You either say, put an end to the pulling and dragging. It doesn't get to the point where there's headbutting, you know. But I think lots of people don't really see the connection between, like, you know, 2-foot tackles and headbutting with, like, you know, the game being ruined. I think they kind of think, yeah, it was fine before. Nothing bad ever happened. And it was grand.
I did see a clip. I'll try finding it and stick it here. It was like it was a reel. I think The Athletic had it. It was with an ex-Premier League referee, and he was like breaking down the myths of Premier League refereeing. I can't remember. It's one of the big name ones anyway. But one of the things he said is like, number one, you just want consistency. He's like, that is not true. He's like, people actually don't know what they want, because the more consistent the referees are, the more people give out that they're like robots, or it's common sense, you know, you get the game flow, and you need to, every situation is different.
Yeah.
So he's like, so they try and do it that way. But then when they do that, of course, people are like, but sure, this is ridiculous. Like, you can't just be changing the rules every week. So he's like, it's an impossible job.
Yeah, and I do think in this case, it is the same people who want them sent off, but also like the pull and dragon. A lot of cases, it's different people who want different things, but they're all grouped together as football fans. So football fans want this, football fans want that. They do it on the internet with women. You know, women want this, then we want that. It's like, it's not the same woman. Yeah. You know, it's different people. It's
not one woman.
Yeah, different brains. Just because it's woman on the internet doesn't mean it's the same woman. It's like football fans the same thing. There's different rules for different needs, I guess. But yeah, I mean, like this in this case. I mean, actually, another one involving Man City. Do you remember when they played Liverpool and Slabosai pulled him back, and then Haaland pulled him back, and then it was a free in. And it's like, just let it flow. Let the ball roll in the goal. That would have been really funny if that happened.
yeah.
And I think, it was last on back. So did he miss the next game, Slabosai?
Yes, he got a red card. The red card superseded the goal because he needed the ban.
But like, that's it. This is the knock-on effect where it's like, there's some people there who would say, oh yeah, that shouldn't have been given a free, but they would say this one should have been. And then the complete opposite would be true as well. Because like, no, he should have been called that ban. Because, you know, you don't want Liverpool on to help Slabosai. Like, but I guess, look, what about the referee not blowing this? And I think, you know, by calling it VAR, we let them off the hook a little bit.
Yeah,
you know,
it sounds like it's a machine.
Yeah, it sounds like that supercomputer that predicts the Premier League every year. You know, we don't go too hard on him because he's just a machine that deals with numbers and predictions. You know, he's got no feelings or emotion. This is a room full of, believe it or not, professional referees who are looking at this going, I don't remember the headbutting rule.
Never seen this one before. I think a yellow card for it was even worse.
You see that sometimes. Well, maybe not much more, but in guy you see like be a punch throw and someone get boxed and then they get yellow. It's like, well, what did you put in the book then? Because you can't put yellow for a box, because if it's a box, then it's a red. You know, so what did you put in the book then, ref? But yeah, like I guess what really annoyed people was that Haaland also got yellow.
Yeah, exactly. And like this, I think the reason this one was so obvious and why it annoyed people, or why it was such a big moment, was because everyone remembers this exact thing going against their team. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
It's if your dumb player pushes the head, you go, oh, you fucking idiot, you're sent off now. And they always are.
Yeah. Okay, and how about this take then, Will? Was Haaland being selfish by not going down? Is he not being a team player? Is he playing into his own macho instincts too much, and he should have gone down?
Well, yeah, because like I said, 3 games out Gabriel, that's huge. I mean, I do think the PGMOL are probably counting their lucky stars that Gabriel didn't go on to score a header a few minutes later.
Oh, yeah.
Because it would have been fucking pandemonium. But yeah, I do get what you mean, where like, he's not thinking about the team. He's thinking about, well, I can't give up any weakness here. I can't show any weakness to Gabriel. Did you see Haaland's comments on it after the game?
I did, yeah. And it kind of unprovoked as well.
Yeah, I think that's a red card. I think most of you agree with me on this. To be honest, if I go down, it's a red card, like any other guy would do. I will never do this. My father learned me this, that stay on your feet and don't be a, I cannot say the word, but yeah, don't be a starts on P. Yeah, that's the reality.
But this is it. It's kind of he's a young guy on the internet. He's friends with the sidemen, unlike us.
Yes, yeah.
You know, he's watching. He's seen Andrew Tate. He knows who Andrew Tate is. He's watched some of the reels to completion and gone, something to think about. You know, obviously I've got my own views on the world, but you know, he's aware of these kind of things. I just think, like, you know, when players don't dive in the box, they get that sometimes. Where it's like, you should go down there for the team. You know, it's a great chance. They don't say much anymore. They used to say a bit more, I think, about going down the box. But yeah, like if you think about, like when it happened to me, I immediately texted into the group like, it's over. Like that's the season over. That is
typical. Yeah, that's the moment. Yeah,
because it's more than just like him get sent off. Like that sums up the day. Like mentally weak, head loss. You know, you're throwing your toys at the pram. That's your leader. One of your experienced players going off. He's gone off the next 3 games. He's basically finished for the season. Arsenal don't recover from this. They've been completely outplayed. You know, they've lost the mental battle. The whole narrative is shaped around that instant if he gets sent off. You know, now maybe that's a bit much for Haaland to expect to think about in the moment. But yeah, I think if he scores anything now in the next 3 games, does anything, like which he will because he'll be playing. You know, that's a huge what if moment for City. Now they might win anyway, so it mightn't make any difference. This might be nothing. This mightn't even be remembered in the grand scheme of things. But certainly, if Arsenal were to go on and win this somehow, that is going to be one of the biggest moments of the season.
Yeah, 100%. And it's funny because it's the type of thing that, like, say Arsenal go on and win the league now. Maybe Gabriel gets a goal or 2, just has a few good games. It is funny because every team does this, every set of fans. But it's like, you do know, like mid-season, there was definitely Arsenal fans being like, the referees don't want us to win, you know, they're against us, they're giving all these other teams this. And it's like, they'll just skip over this huge moment in their favour. And then next season, it'll probably be right back to like, the refs are against us.
Yeah. Well, this is it. The refs are so incompetent that it doesn't make sense for them to be this incompetent. Like, you're thinking about, I always laugh when I think about like just a group of grown men in the VAR room, just like clenched for 90 minutes, hoping nothing happens. Like, please, God, let us not have to make a decision here. Like, look at that. Like the classic coming to the heads. Someone leans in, you blinked first, now you're getting sent off. And they just, like, a lot of bottling talk at the moment. But that is absolutely not having the bravery to say, hang on, mate, you've missed it there. That's a clear headbutt. We know what happens there. They just went, let's hope this passes without any. Hopefully he doesn't score. And he had the chance at the end. He had was off the bar, the post. It was like, can you imagine the VAR room when that nearly went in? Like, oh dear God.
Well, I just can't get over the VAR audio from a week ago from the Man United one recently, where again one of the VAR officials says, he's asked, like, did you see that? You know, was it a penalty? Not a penalty? He says, didn't see it, mate. I was busy watching the line. Goal up the other end, by the way. It's just like the panic in the voice. And just, again, being so stressed that, like, I can't miss an offside here, can't miss an offside, that you missed the blatant penalty on the screen beside it.
And what happened to the fucking air traffic controllers who were going to get them to stop using the word maze?
They obviously did not work, yeah.
And the nicknames, he called him something. He called him like Podsy or something. It was like Palsy.
Yeah.
He called him Palsy or something. Like there's a nickname in there. It's like, lads, this was meant to be stamped out years ago. Like, this was just another lie from the PGMOL. Being like, yeah, we're going to change our processes and we're going to, you know, and they just went, all right, the heat's off, lads. Go back to calling yourself. If you can say mate if you want, you can use the cool nicknames that we've given each other, you know, do whatever you want. It's not a professional thing. It's just a bunch of referees hanging out.
What? You think they're ever going to hear these tapes? Yeah, right.
People have moved on from the old VAR thing. It's all about Arsenal now or whatever. Sorry, that was the second thing we learned. That what was the lesson there? That fucking headbutting. You have to go down. You have to dive.
You have to dive. Yep.
Have to dive. A third thing I've learned, Will, there is value in the January transfer market.
Oh yeah, Big time.
You know, if you have 200 million, there's value to be got there.
200 million in January is the same as 200 million in summer. It's a lot of money to buy players.
Yeah. Cherky obviously came in the summer, but he has been like another signing. He's in the last like 6 weeks or so, he's really kind of like, the picture of them now is what you remember from the first half season, like kind of no creative spark. Like your man, I was looking at their team, they have like 3 new signings on the bench, which have been replaced by 2 new signings, and I guess O'Reilly as well, who's, I mean, a few weeks ago it's like, yeah, maybe for England, and now he's like nailed on. He's like one of these best attacking players. So they have like a whole new team. Your man Reinders, who started off so well, got a few goals. Now he's benched. He's back on the bench again. Bernardo Silva, who they've tried to phase out loads of times, he's back in. Now Rodri went off injured in this game as well, actually. So
yes, he did. Yeah.
I don't know how bad that is. Hopefully not too bad for him. Like, he was such a integral part of the Spain team that won the Euros. Like, it'd be tough to miss the World Cup just like at the peak of his career, But yeah, I didn't actually see if there was any kind of update on that. But yeah, like we said, I think we said this last week. Like, it's just kind of crunch time now. Like, everything's coming to a head, but you have the World Cup so close that, like, oh, I don't want to miss that. It's only every 4 years. It's so tough. But yeah, they really are. The whole form change now from like where Arsenal were the best team in the league for the first half, and City were kind of finished, washed in transition. It's completely switched now. Where, like, if you are a Burnley or a relegation struggler or a European hopeful, whereas like say 6 or 8 weeks ago you'd wanted to play Man City over Arsenal, and now it's the opposite. Now you're like, oh, I'll play that struggling Arsenal side any day over Cherky and Semenyo and Gahey and really, really good team. Anything else that you learned, Will? Well, I don't know if that's 4. Just one more.
Is that 4 or is that 3? That might be 3.
That's 3.
The 4th thing we learned is insane to do this, by the way, off the cuff.
I thought so much happened, but I guess it's mainly the same lessons.
The 4th thing,
number 4
we learned
of 5.
Look, you can make a big mistake in a game as long as your team goes on to win. Because I didn't hear a single thing about Donnarumma being nervy or like making a mistake in a huge game. Could you imagine if that was over the other end? If that was Raya who did that, it'd be the talk of the town. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, well, that is true, but I do think partly it's Man City and it's like no one cares, but partly also it's Donnarumma who's proven as like a world-class keeper.
Yeah.
So he gets a bit more slack, and I think with Kai Havertz's chances, but he made 2 great saves there. The one that the second last chance that Havertz had, Odegaard put in play for him, and he just drove her at him. But then Donnarumma got up and made the second save. The rebound. So it's like, all right, he's not great at his feet, but like Trafford probably wouldn't have made that first mistake, but he may not have made those last 2 saves as well.
Yeah.
So it's I do think if they stuck with Trafford, they'd still be in the same position. I don't think it's been that much difference. But yeah, Donnarumma will give you the kind of the shot stopping, but maybe not the touch. I mean, yeah, you gotta get that launch if you're Donnarumma, but yeah, if you make a mistake like that and you play for Man City, you're probably fine. And he won't be dropped either at this point. It's not going to crazy to drop him now.
Well, I don't know if you saw that Trafford is gone in the summer, apparently. Like, literally, that's the type of thing where it happens. You're like, I wonder is there more behind the scenes to that, or like some kind of great plan? It's like, no, it was exactly like it looked like. They bought a keeper, and then Donnarumma came up and they went, I'd actually rather him. So fuck the first guy.
Yeah, I suppose he probably isn't in a... like Keller was happy enough to be a backup keeper for a while, thinking I'll kind of bide my time here. But I'd say Trafford's thinking my stock is actually not going to go up by being the sub keeper here. Because whatever about the main game that he played, no one cares about the Carabao Cup games. Like when Keller was making saves, there probably wasn't that much hype about him either. It's mainly because he's Irish and we heard a lot about him. But like if you're the Man City second keeper, like you're going nowhere. You know what I mean? It's not a place to go to the next level. So he probably knew himself it's time to move. No more than Gyökeres. Like, I think they don't trust you. It's over. It's time to
it's only the biggest game of the season. No worries about not playing that one.
Yeah, because he played Trafford in the Cup, so he's given him chances to, hey, maybe I was wrong. And like Trafford probably is better at his feet, but if you're still not getting in, it's like, yeah, I think it's time to move on. And speaking of moving on, Will, the fifth thing that I learned, Jim Skin has never been to a football match before, but this was his first game.
I learned a good bit about Jim Skin as well. I don't think Jim Skin realised. Now I know he's playing a bit of a character. I think Jim Skin genuinely didn't know you need tickets to go to a game. Did you see that clip?
No, I didn't see that. What was that?
So he's outside and he's talking to some random City fan. Now maybe it's because he's pretty famous now, so we just assumed he wouldn't need one. But your man's like, "Do you have a ticket to the game?" He's like, "What? Do you have a ticket to the game?" He's like, "Nah, I just came to watch the football, mate." It's like, "Yeah, do you have a ticket to get in?" He's like, "No, I just came to watch it." And like the way he says it, it really feels like he's being genuine. He doesn't know. He thought he'd just kind of show up and walk in. But then the next clip I saw of him, he's on the fucking pitch.
Yeah. He probably thought he's not watching the game. He probably thought, I'll come for a bit of pre-match stuff and I'll shake some hands. But no, he said he's going to watch the game, did he? He's okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he's an odd dude as well.
He's a weird guy. Yeah, weird guy. He said his only footballer that he remembers is Paolo Di Canio, and he remembers them from collecting the little figures with big heads. Yeah, that's how he knows football, which is a mad way to know about them.
Yeah, I think he is definitely on some kind of spectrum. The 2.5 sugar-free digestives. He's got a few quirks about him, and he's also
the fork and knife play.
Yeah. And he's also very good. Like, those guys are also great in the gym because it's not that they love routine, but they just can't imagine the life without it. Yeah. It's good that he's put it towards good use. He's a wholesome guy. But I'd learned more about Jim Skin than I thought I would during the Arsenal Man City title race. So yeah, look, that's where we're at, Will. I mean, if you had to make a prediction, Arsenal or Man City, who's going to win the league? And you can't say you don't care.
What colour are these ribbons going to be at the end of this season? Are they going to be? Let's put it on the line.
You asked me November, and it's the same. I think Man City won today. They're going to be blue.
Listen, there's still 15 points on the table, but if I have to answer the question, I will say it will have to be blue today.
Gary?
I would, for the first time this season, I'm probably going to say they're going to be blue.
I don't care.
You said Arsenal.
I said Arsenal. I'm going to stick with Arsenal. Of course I'm going to stick with them.
You still think Arsenal will get there? There you go. So that makes a mockery of our last half an hour.
A quick aside, what the fuck was that about? Why are you bothering at all then?
Well, no more than Jim Skin. It's a character,
Exactly, yeah.
All I care about is United. All right, we know you were captain and Michael Carrick took your jersey. We get it. He's a bad person. We know.
Why would I care who wins the Premier League? Because I'm paying to watch you, right?
Yeah, well, I don't fucking a couple $100,000 a year, I'd imagine. That's probably why you should give an opinion on this. But then, him saying I don't care, that's worth the money.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's playing to the United fans too. Like, yeah, fuck them. I don't care either. As long as Arsenal win it.
I don't care so much. I'm watching the post-game punditry.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you're watching the post-game punditry. I'd say 50% of people are online watching the clip, and the rest of the ones stick around, just listen to Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira.
Well, yeah, it does feel inevitable that it's City are going to do it. They're just on such a rise. I mean, I'm sure you saw Haaland giving the cheeky look at the camera after the game, like he knew the table was on the screen when he was looking at it, which was mad. I think Peter Drury said it. Now he didn't say it in these words. He said it in much, much more words. But Pep is just a master of peaking at the right time. He has it down to a science. And it feels like Arteta is the opposite of just falling away just when we need you to win a few more.
Although the record of the Premier League for the last 5 games is not great. I know there's been a few Champions League and Cup games in between that, which they have won. But they've drawn 2 of the last 5. They won the one yesterday. Who they draw? Did they draw with Crystal Palace or something like that?
I'll tell you now. Drew at West Ham on the 14th of March. They had a lot of non-Premier League games in the middle there.
Yeah, Like the Chelsea, like, okay, this is maybe clutch at straws a bit, but humour me, will. They draw at West Ham, right, in the Premier League. They then lose to Real Madrid. They beat Arsenal in the EFL Cup with, sub-keeper in there. They beat Liverpool in the FA Cup, which, come on.
Yeah, everyone's doing that.
Then they beat Chelsea 3-0.
Bad
On paper,
team.
this is like, wow, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea. It's like, yeah, but come on, lads.
They're all
This isn't-
going bad. Yeah.
They're all going bad. Then they beat Arsenal again. That's the last game.
Still going bad.
But, okay, so and look, Arsenal played well. You got to give them that one. That was a game they were favourites to win, pressure on them. This is to get you back in the race. And they did it. But, like, this kind of feeling is because people don't watch Man City games.
Yeah, yeah.
You're seeing them get back in. Like, Arsenal's record, obviously, the last while is not great either. There's no getting away from that. They are also going badly. They've lost to Man City, obviously. They drew 0-0 with Sporting at home, lost to Bournemouth, beat Sporting 1-0. And again, if you want to say, oh yeah, beating Chelsea is no big deal, it's like, well, beating Sporting by 1-0 is no big deal either.
Yeah, exactly. A last kick of the game as well.
Then you go back to the FA Cup, they lost 2-0, 2-1 to Southampton. They lost 2-0 to Man City in the EFL Cup before that. And they beat Leverkusen. And they drew Leverkusen before that. So, I mean, look, they're not going well either, and it is just like it's flipped. Arsenal were going great and they're tapering off. Man City started slow and they're ramping up. I guess it's the feeling is that this is just the Man City run. It's a lot later than usual, but there's a feeling of like, yeah, I could see them winning the next 6 games in a row. Like, I don't know if there was a funny clip of Wayne Rooney, probably the most interesting pundit out there, because he's an independent thinker. I think always has been. But he said that he thought Man City were celebrating a bit too much on the pitch. He did the kind of, it's where they won the league. It's like, well, they kind of have.
They kind of have, like, yeah. It's a huge one.
It's a pretty big one in terms of getting there. But he's like, listen, there's 6 games to go. There's 15 points to play for. Arsenal have 5 games to go. They have 6. They're still going to win those games.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't won 6 games a lot this season. And he was kind of making like good logical points, but he just wasn't paying into the emotion of it all at all. Like that. Oh, but they're going to do it. They're obviously going to do it. It is just kind of it's the feeling of it, and this is where it comes down to Arteta, and maybe this is his greatest moment, or if he can somehow convince Arsenal that was not it, that it is, as Declan Rice very visibly mouthed to the world,
it is not over.
And look, that could be just Declan Rice knowing the cameras on him, or maybe the brainwashing, the Arteta brainwashing is actually finally coming to fruition, and they are still in it. They are still thinking, wow, we played so well,
Yeah.
So yeah, you're thinking City. You think that they have it. They're going to go on a run.
Well, not even that they'll go on a run. It's just that like they should be beating Burnley. Like, again, Burnley got absolutely torn apart by Nottingham Forest the other day. So like, if they beat that, then City are top, and then it's just like, do I think City are going to win every game from now to the rest of the season? No, but I think they'll win more than Arsenal will. Like, I don't think either of them are going to absolutely tear up the league for the next 5 games.
People keep saying that, but that's it. It's like, this is like, you got 5 games to go to win it. You should be winning all these games, lads. You're top. You're first and second. I mean, like,
it's just a weird season.
You should definitely win these games. Like, they play Burnley. I think they'll beat Burnley.
Yeah,
they play Southampton in the FA Cup semi-finals. Again, that's not important to the league, other than like tiredness or injuries or whatever. But then they play Everton away. I think they should beat Everton. Like,
yeah,
they've lost to Liverpool, just last minute winner from Van Dijk. That kind of puts an end to their European hopes, I would say. Just judge on how many players or teams are ahead of them. They're not a million miles off points wise, but it's going to be tough. So by the time they play Man City, I don't know how they feel it. But Man City should beat them. They're better players than them, have a better team. Brentford at home. Again, Brentford are kind of sticky, for teams, but you know, like you're trying to win the league here. At this point now, you have 4 games left. Like you can't be dropping points these teams. Bournemouth again, then they play Crystal Palace, and then Aston Villa. Like they're better than all these teams.
Yeah.
I can't see them not winning these games. You know what I mean?
Oh, I can. All right. Do you know what's an issue is because it was in this game and it was in the whatever the last City game was before this. Was that the Chelsea game? But another game where it felt like for a long time the plan was give the ball to Doku and let him try to do something, and it's just like it never really amounts to anything. Like he gets by his player, he can do like he's really good on the ball, but he doesn't really have the end product. But it feels like they just keep brute forcing that way because he gets by players so easily. But it's just, it doesn't feel like they have a million different plans when something doesn't work out this time.
No, but I do think the Docker thing is interesting because who's that goal? Is the goal he scored against Liverpool where he got through?
Yeah.
And it was just like they kind of not gave up, I guess, but he just kind of really got some space, and when he got some space, he could finish.
Yeah,
but I think
it's just like it's so rare that's going to happen. Where it's like he has that much space to hit it in.
But he has the ball and he's moving his body so quickly and gyrating in such aggressive motions.
It just looks good, yeah.
but people swarm on him and they foul him and they get it free, and it definitely puts them on the back foot, I guess. But yeah, I mean, they started off the season. Look at the first game of the season. They had was it Marmouche, Haaland, and Oscar Bob up front.
A lifetime ago.
Like that's why they're going so bad, you know. Like now they've got Semenyo and Doku, so like he's still a huge step up on Oscar Bob, who I think plays at Fulham now. You know, like I think they'll be fine. I think they're going to win every single game. And again, it's if it was Man United, if it was Liverpool, they'd be like, that's 3 games in a row they've won, 5 games. Or they'd be counting down the games. But when in City, it'll just be, it won't even be talked about because it'll be, they're playing Burnley.
All the pressure's on Arsenal,
Yeah, exactly. It'd be Arsenal first and then, City won. Now what'll Arsenal do? You know what I mean? It's not going to be the other way around. So I think they'll do it. They're just in that sweet spot and they always will be. So, you know, I can't see going either way. But what else do we have then? Yeah, I guess the opposite end, Tottenham. It's a miserable year in North London, I think. No matter who you are. I don't know who can be happier.
Did you see the banner? It was a pretty cleverly done banner. We had talked about it before. Remember the City fans when the charges first came? They had the Panic in the Streets of London banner because of
Lord
Panic, their lawyer. Well, they had a new banner that just said Panic in the Streets of North London, as in Arsenal. But it ties in nicely with Spurs as well. There's a lot of panicking going on over there.
Yeah, some panicking, some early celebrations. I mean, I wonder what Rooney thought of Xavi Simons there.
They just ran away. They got away from themselves. They started believing for the first time this season, but it was just 20 minutes too early.
To be honest, I think that was Xavi Simons thinking, what a goal. I've booked my place at the World Cup. Because I think the Dutch team is decent. I don't know if there's too many players that would take Xavi Simons' spot on it, but I think he's that kind of player who would miss out. You'd see it. You're like, no place for Xavi Simons in the Dutch team. Well, I guess he hasn't played in the last 5 games for Tottenham, you know. Like, and he hasn't had a great season. He's a bit small, and is he that good? You know, he's just one of these players who always has a question mark over him, you know, and certainly we came first. Like, you know, people are like, oh, he's better than Eze, and that this is the signing of the season. And either just cue the fail compilations of him being pushed off the ball and stuff or given it away. And was it De Zerbi came in then and dropped him? It's like, oh no, like you're being blamed for this. It's your fault. Because you need to put the blame on somebody. Like, okay, look, the team is fundamentally changed, if you know what I mean. And now we're going to play well. He scored a great goal. Xavi Simons took off the top, ran out the crowd in the 77th minute.
I mean, you play for Spurs. You haven't won a game in God knows how long. Did you think Brighton were just going to stop?
Yeah. I wasn't watching the game. I wondered if it cut to Richarlison in the stand. Like, you know, when it cuts to just an absolutely deadpan Richarlison with 1,000 yards there, like, oh no.
I think it would cut to Richarlison and he'd also have his top off, being like, yeah.
He'd be in the stand already, just yes. Chicken dancing away.
I don't know if you saw the clips after the game. I mean, after the Brighton goal of Xavi Simons. Like, he has quite a resting, sad face already, but he looked like despondent, and he's like throwing his arms in the air, like it looks like he's kind of having a tantrum because he's just so upset that I can't believe we've dropped points again.
Yeah, no, he fucked it for that one. They drew at Brighton, and as you mentioned there, Nottingham Forest beat Burnley after being 1-0 down. And who got the goals? It was, of course, Morgan Gibbs-White, the man held hostage at Nottingham Forest. By,
Fingers in the ear, knee slide. He's not listening to whatever someone is saying. He's still
He's done that all season. All season.
Who's talking? No one's talking about you, Morgan.
It's only us talking about him. We're the only ones still talking about this guy. Yeah, hat-trick for him. Second half hat-trick. Plus an insurance goal there from Igor Jesus, still playing football, which is nice to see.
Still there. Yeah, still there. They are 16th now. They're 5 points clear of Tottenham. Breaking news from the past, West Ham are currently playing, who are 2 points clear of Tottenham. They're playing Crystal Palace. It is just about to go to halftime, and it's 0-0 there. You might think Crystal Palace, nothing to play for, they're focused on Europe. Crystal Palace actually need this game, Carl. I don't know if you knew that.
Why's that?
They're 13th at the moment, and if they win this, they will go 12th.
Oh, well, that's what they want to be. That's the sweet spot for them, 12th again. Honestly, Crystal Palace are the dream, aren't they? Like, they won the FA Cup last year and had the right back to safety in 12th. It's like, this is fucking...
They're probably going to win the Conference League. I don't know if you saw Oliver Glasner gave the team a night off after winning the second leg of the quarterfinal, and they all went out on the piss, and he was like, look, I did this at my old clubs as well, and usually it's good for morale. Hopefully they don't come back too hungover. So, like, they've been on the piss for 2 nights this week.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to them. It's they had that drama with Glasner, who's still there, but he's going to be leaving, and they lost Gay in the middle of the season. So they get the drama, they get the occasional kind of cup run, but they're in the Premier League again. They're safe. There's no.
And usually you'll beat. It feels like a lot of the big teams every season. You get at least one win over them all.
Yeah, and you know what? Like Stoke used to get a few scalps, a few big draws or whatever, but they never played good football.
Yeah.
And when they tried to, they immediately went down and never came back. Like
Palace are usually pretty good.
Crystal Palace at one stage had Zaha, Eze, and Elise in the same team.
Yeah, the front three, and they were 12th.
Of course. Well, where else does it be? But like, you get to pay whatever 30 quid for a ticket to watch that. That's insane. Like, people at Everton got that for years. You have to go back to fucking Leighton Baines to be excited. So I mean, yeah, fair play to Crystal Palace. They're the best tier, I think, in the league in many respects. So yeah, I mean, Tottenham, like, it's again, every week that passes and they're still in the bottom 3, it's like, when are you going to make the run, lads? When are you going to get that win? You need that win.
There's what now? 4 games left? Is that right? Like
5 games left. Tottenham.
5 games left, yeah. And one of them is against Wolves, I will say, who seem to be they're beaching it right now.
Oh yeah, they're probably resigned to going down. But yeah, I mean, West Ham have played Palace now. Then they Everton, Brentford, Arsenal, Newcastle, Leeds. Again, look at all these games. Think that they should probably lose all these games. But it's whoever wins the next. They might win like 3 games between them, West Ham and Tottenham. It's just who's got to win them. And for Tottenham, it's like, Jesus, like they need something here.
Tottenham as well are in a tricky situation where they're a big enough name that even if your team is on the beach, you might be like, I wouldn't mind. We can relegate these lads, boys. It could be us that does it. That's a scalp.
They play Wolves next, then Villa, who are going for something, who are trying to get to that. Then they play Leeds, then Chelsea. Chelsea do actually want to relegate them, I'm pretty sure. I've heard that from a few sources.
Chelsea do want to relegate them, but I actually think they might beat Chelsea. Chelsea are awful at the moment. They haven't scored in 4 games.
Yeah, in 3 games' time, where's Chelsea's mentality going to be at? Will there be anything left to try and relegate Tottenham?
Who is managing them in 3 games' time?
Who's managing them now? I mean, what has happened at that club? Yeah, and then Everton last game of the season. But yeah, look, they might win a couple of those games. That might be the I'd say they're probably slightly easier games, maybe, Tottenham do, but it's just the way they're playing. The only thing I can say to them is if the individual players are thinking about the World Cup and trying to play for that, that's probably their best chance, I would say.
And I will say, just based off the highlights, and like I've seen people commenting this as well, that like apparently in the Brighton game, far and away the best they played like all season. I saw a lot of the meme or the screenshot from The Simpsons. You know where Bart tries really hard to pass the test, but he still fails it, and he's like crying. He's like, "I really tried."
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, it's sport is funny. It's like, can't you just like try the whole game? It's such a long
You've
season.
left it too late. Yeah,
you wouldn't get it. It's hard to do all your lads. I know. You know, you were paid to, but it's tough to get up every week.
I don't know who Igor Tudor is.
Did I say Igor Tudor earlier on, or did I say Igor Thiago? I'm not sure. I have to check tape on that one. But I might have said Igor Tudor. What a funny little bit that was. He came in for a few days and then left.
The firefighter.
Yeah.
He
Firefighter
said,
gets burned.
"This fire is larger than any fire I've ever seen, and it's too much for me to handle."
Yeah, this is out of control. I'm backing out. That's kind of it, really, I guess. You know, that was the big week in the Premier League. Many ripples felt the next few weeks because of this week. I don't know. What do we have during the week? We have more games going on in the extended game week this week, don't we?
Yes, double game week is on. Worrying week for you, Cottle. It looked like you were clear of relegation for a bit there. You are back at the bottom, but you have some players still to play.
Well, listen, I wasn't counting my chickens before they hatched. No siree. You know, so I'm not worried about that. I'll count the points at the end of the game week as I always do. And I'll try and what I didn't realize, Will, and this is probably tells his own story of where I am in the league, is that next week all my double game week players this week,
yes, they are playing.
curiously, will not be playing. I wonder why.
They don't get an extra game in the season. They will, in fact, not be playing next week. Yeah.
Sometimes, to be fair to me, I think I always am fair to myself, it's not usually immediate. Sometimes it's like the next game week after that, they get a blank.
Yeah.
You know, the very next game week to be blank seems
tough.
A strange one to me.
I'd imagine you wildcard had brought in a lot of lads with the double in mind. Oh
yeah, no, it's basically the whole team. So next week there is some subs that can maybe cover, but they're not good players. They won't get me any points.
Goodmanson, yeah.
And then after that it'll be just I either take a minus. I got to do some maths and see if it's worth it.
It won't be. It never is.
Yeah, there's a chance, but it probably won't be. And then you'll probably score a few blanks that just take the 0 rather than taking the minus points.
Skip it next week. Don't even look at the app.
That might be the best thing. Given my track record this year, doing nothing might be the best thing. But we will be back, I guess, during the week for whatever happens.
We've got Man City, Burnley anyway.
Again, a game that no one will be watching. They'll just be reporting the results, eagerly reporting results to Arsenal fans, giddily reporting the result, the obvious win for City. That now look, they're top of the league because of goal difference. Yeah,
it'll be a lot of that, like. Wow, a lot of graphics of this was the league a few weeks ago. Now it's this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And of course, you'll see the Liverpool graphic again of the bottom league.
Yeah. Which is bigger bottle? Yeah.
Yeah. The ball guy was back. You see that? We didn't talk about him last week. I forgot to mention him. The Sky Sports plant. The Chelsea game.
Yeah.
Apparently, you know how it was found out that he was a plant? Because people were posting on Twitter. And Sky Sports are copyrighting the footage. It's like, well, if this is just a normal fan, why would you copyright fan footage then?
That's our intellectual property. You can't be using that guy.
Yeah, so he's one of your guys. No, he's just a guy who happened to have an Arsenal branded bottle. Yeah, they can't pull the same trick twice. No one cared this week. I saw it a bit, but people were like, it was funny to think that he was just a guy in Chelsea with an Arsenal bottle. But now you bring him over to Manchester as well. Like.
Well, the thing with him as well was like, in 2014 he would have been the talk of the town, but like in this meme economy, like he's here for 2 minutes, we're on to the next one.
You can't bring him back next week, not without a new trick. He's got to be doing something bigger.
Is he going to get a podcast next? Yeah.
In 2014, he'd have his own Twitter page.
He'd be on Ellen DeGeneres.
He'd be the Chelsea bottle guy, and people follow him on Facebook. Arsenal bottle guy, and that would be, I don't know where he'd go from there in 2014. Yeah, now say you gotta have a few different goes at it, and then you slowly move into a low effort podcast and get sponsors, and you show them all the clicks and go, look at all these fucking clicks. We must be listened to by thousands of people. That's direct advertising for you.
Or Paddy Power ads.
Yeah, they do kind of house those people. The kind of like the United Strand guy.
United Strand. Haven't heard much of him. The last one I think was a step too far. People were ready for it to end. I don't think anyone really thinks about him anymore.
Did he move into punditry at all?
Now, here's one. He should have played the Sidemen charity match.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he has had enough of it. I feel he stopped promoting himself because he kind of got, when he's getting attacked by people and stuff.
Yeah, people were trying to pull the hair off his head in Old Trafford.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I don't like this anymore. Maybe I shouldn't go to any public things anymore. Although, actually, you know what? I'm just on his page here, Will.
It was slightly day 561 of not cutting my hair until Man United win 5 games in a row. What a result yesterday. Champions League football is almost confirmed. Day 500.
He's at it. He's still at it.
It's very funny too. I sent you earlier today. It actually gave me a good laugh. Just some random kid looking to do the same thing for Spurs, but he's like, not cutting my hair until Spurs win a single game. And it's been since November. He had no idea that was going to happen.
Yeah, it's a simple thing. The not cutting the hair.
It's like a curse when people do it. It curses your team.
Oh, it just updated there, Will.
Day 562 of not cutting my hair until Man United win 5 games in a row. Day 560.
Oh, Will, there's a great clip here. He says that, and then what do you think he pulls out from behind his back?
Jesus, I have no idea. Some form of clippers, maybe, hinting it's coming.
Actually, not from behind his back. He pulls it from his mop of hair. He pulls it out of the nest on his head.
Oh, like a prop. What does he pull? I have no idea.
He pulls out a bottle, Will. And,
no way.
And it's got the Arsenal logo on
it. They're all laughing at you.
and he's wearing, of course, his branded T-shirt, the United Strand. Again, I mean, he's trying to make it work.
That's insane. What are the odds of that? That we went from that. It's like we knew telepathically.
We're in touch with the football zeitgeist. Fucking shit. Fucking content wheel.
Well, even like that of the United hair guy being like, haha, Arsenal bottled the league. It's like, this man hasn't cut his hair in 562 days because Man United can't win games.
But yeah, but I think that was it as well. People pointed out, I was like, it's a lot of games to win, man. In a row.
Yeah, it's really hard.
That's what the Tottenham one. Winning one game was very funny. Because well, that's...
They should have done that.
He set this up thinking, this might last a couple of weeks. And I was like, fuck, I have to keep going with this now, I guess. Yeah, I don't know how we got talking about wash-ups or wash-out.
The bottle guy,
fucking internet football guys. Thankfully, it's not us, Will. Thankfully, we're still going strong. And we'll be back. We'll be back probably Wednesday, Thursday. One of the days.
God knows what the Premier League. It's the time. The games are happening.
It's Crystal Palace West Ham right now. Tomorrow, Brighton play Chelsea. Wednesday, Burnley play Man City. Wednesday again, Bournemouth play Leeds.
No escape.
Thursday,
quick break.
Quick break. Thursday, Friday, Sunderland v Nottingham Forest, and then you're right back into it. The 6 games on the Saturday.
There's games. Look at that. Even it goes so Monday, so today. Tomorrow, Wednesday, quick break Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday again. Then I'm assuming Champions League Tuesday, Wednesday, Europa League Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday again. There's games on every single day from tomorrow on.
A lot of games happening, folks. So we'll be covering them all the big ones, all the important ones. And like I said, we have Europa League, Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup. It's all coming up. And if it happens during the week, you get the normal episodes on a Monday, Tuesday, and then the bonus episode is for the midweek games, the typically the European games, FA Cup, that kind of stuff. So we'll be there covering it all, but you got to be an ultra to get the bonus stuff. Link in the descriptions episodes. Sign up if you want. Join us for the end of the season. This is the run in now. This is the final, the final time, and
the final run in.
So yeah, look, we was there anything else you want to talk about? Oh, also, shout out to Joy Parrott, won the cup in Netherlands.
Yeah,
which is pretty good.
Pretty good. I think he scored the 5th in a 5-1 win. I did see that he's open to coming back to Tottenham even if they get relegated, though, and I think that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, I was hoping more for like Real Madrid, to be honest, after this.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, the Brazil national team, maybe.
I mean, he's got 30 goals in 45 games.
Yeah.
30.
Why the fuck would you go to the championship now?
30 goals, 11 assists. I mean, I'm thinking of the last player that I can think of that came from the Eredivisie to like a top 5 league. Maybe I don't have much ball knowledge, which I know I don't, but I'm thinking Suarez is the most recent one I think of.
Yeah, I'm trying to think there as well.
Matthias Tell.
Yeah, that didn't really work. He didn't have those numbers though.
No, I don't think so. But yeah, I'm thinking, Lewandowski's getting on a bit. Barcelona makes sense to me. Will,
yeah, that'd be sick.
So yeah, look, congratulations on winning the cup in the Eredivisie, and congratulations on your impending move to Barcelona. Troy Parrott, congratulations!
Yeah.
What a year it's been for him.
Huge, yeah.
I saw some kind of fucking list, some kind of poll. It was like top Irish sports people. I think it was after, or maybe not top, but like most liked, most loved, or whatever, most famous. Fucking, it's like Roy McIlroy number 1, 2 Troy Parrott, 3 Katie Taylor, 4 Seamus Coleman, 5 like fucking Fitness Ass or something like that. It's like we are a sleeping giant, Will. You know what I mean? Like people want football to be good so bad. they just want us to be good.
Number 1, McIlroy. 2, Troy Parrott, of course. 3, Katie Taylor, I guess.
Yeah, like legitimate, like world class in their sports athletes, and then
the greatest of all time in their sport. Yeah, and like Troy Parrott, I like him this year.
And then just the current players in the Irish football team that didn't qualify for the Euros, didn't get past the semi-final of the playoffs. Like, we love them. We love them more than anyone else is actually good. So yeah, look, it's all ahead of you, Troy. All you gotta do is put the net on your back, bring us back to the World Cup, and
easy.
Please.
Well, we're guaranteed the Euros.
Yeah. So yeah, look, thanks for listening. Thanks for sticking with us. Ultras, we'll see you during the week. Everyone else, we'll see you next week. And yeah, have a good week. Good luck.
Good luck.
No, honestly, that is nonsense. Nonsense. All nonsense.
They say many, many garbage things.
You don't know what you're going to get.